Beware the Slender Man. No, seriously, watch out for that guy, or you've got to start the level over. Since his creation on these Something Awful forums in 2009, the spooky specter known as Slender Man has taken a rambling route through the back alleys of pop culture, becoming central to scary stories, a feature film, and even real-life violence. So it's no surprise that the creepypasta character has also shown up in his own horror games, most of them short, free, and designed to scare the life out of you in dark, sometimes poorly rendered woods. After the release of Parsec Productions' popular Slender, The 8 Pages, in 2012, copycats created a whole cottage industry out of mimicking that game's formula. The games generally put players in a dark locale on the hunt for a number of items, armed with only a flashlight and a limited ability to run. All the while, they must evade the roaming Slender Man, an encounter with whom they'll certainly not survive. There are Slender Man games that are must-plays and some that are so bad they have to be seen to be believed. We've got the best examples of both. Grab your flashlight, it's time for a walk in the woods. Best Slender Man's Shadow. As a gameplay experience, Slender Man's Shadow is no frills, all thrills. Among the first generation of Slender copycats, Shadow excels by paying attention to everything its inspiration did right, with tight controls and smoother gameplay making it the rare copy that exceeds the original. Developed by Dark Pathogen Studios, the game provides a crucial amount of variety with its wide-ranging level selection, making it far more interesting than the games that just stick you in the woods again. A commercial game that's totally worth the $4.99 price tag, Slender Man's Shadow is one of the purest distillations of a Slender Man gaming experience that you could ever ask for. Worst Five Nights at Slenderman. A classic example of two great tastes that taste sad together. Five Nights at Slenderman is exactly what you think it is, a mashup of Five Nights at Freddy's-style gameplay with Slenderman-esque spooky tropes. While this concept could theoretically work as a sort of Five Nights palette swap, the game is sunk by its rough design. It's no secret that the Five Nights at Freddy's games are essentially dressed-up versions of Red Light, Green Light. What makes them work is their sense of atmosphere, with the characters and settings drawing you in and then freaking you out. When you take away that careful design and replace it with a scratchy filter and some clip art, all you're left with is an unvarnished jump scare engine that loses the unique aspects of the game that inspired it. There's a decent idea at the heart of this one, maybe, but the execution is game-breakingly bad. Best Slender, The 9 Pages. After a few years of Slender copies duplicating by the dozen, the verdict is in. You can't really do a whole lot with a Slender Man game. Innovations come along every once in a while to varying effect, but sometimes the best idea is just a great execution of a classic formula. And Slender, The 9 Pages is a perfect example of that. Despite the deceptively suggestive title, The 9 Pages is not at all related to Parsec Productions' 8 Pages game, but it does improve on that game's design in many ways. The music here is eerie, the visuals are sharp, and the sense of horror is palpable. The game also features little touches like more interactive environments to provide just that little extra bit of realism. By getting the small things right, The 9 Pages makes for an atmospheric and involving experience that's among the best and scariest executions of the Slenderman formula we've seen yet. Worst Slenderman, the Demented Demon. Slenderman the Demented Demon has no illusions about its quality, with the developer's notes telling players it's probably best if you don't play it. Made for a game jam called Ludum Dare, in which developers design a full game over a weekend, Slenderman the Demented Demon is basic beyond belief. It's certainly unique compared to other Slenderman games, but at what cost? The arcade-style gameplay of the Demented Demon is intuitive, at least. The game puts you in the role of Slenderman as you stalk the woods like Jason Voorhees, slaying as many victims as you can over the course of 75 seconds, reducing them on touch to a bright blood spot, with no further input required. The best, and maybe only good thing you can say about the game is that its controls are pretty responsive, and that it's also kind of funny to look at. Best Slender, The Arrival. Finally, the fully realized version of the game that started it all. A follow-up to and pseudo-remake of the influential Slender, The 8 Pages, this full-fledged commercial horror game from Blue Isle Studios is the biggest production that Slendy's been involved with this side of the Sony Pictures movie. Slender, The Arrival is arguably the most polished of the Slenderman games, sporting a lot more gameplay variety than its freeware contemporaries. While the atmosphere remains the same, the player's goals and the enemy's behavior are frequently changing depending on what level you're on. Many Slenderman games amount to one-note adrenaline-spiking experiences, but The Arrival actually tries to draw you into a story, adding personal stakes to what could otherwise feel like a boilerplate experience. While it's far from the best horror game ever made, it's a must-play for fans of this subgenre, and the most ambitious take on the new urban legend that we've seen in gaming yet. Worst Night Shadows. Night Shadows takes almost all its moves from the playbook of the first Slender established. It's functionally a copy of what came before, so how could it turn out to be so inferior? The devil is in the details. Buggy and lacking polish, Night Shadows has several wonky graphical and gameplay elements, from leaves that fall impossibly from the sky to an odd green wavy effect alerting you to Slenderman's presence, instead of the typical static buzz. It makes the game loop back around to be bizarrely entertaining though. Still not good. So is it worth playing? Maybe, just don't let it be the first Slenderman game you try.